This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop on research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared by students, faculty, alumni, and other members of the USC community. All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Viterbi Voices. I'm Maya, one of your co-hosts. I'm currently a junior studying industrial and systems engineering here at Viterbi. And unfortunately, our other co-host could not make it with us today. That's Paul. He's the executive director of undergraduate admission at Viterbi, and he is off doing important things, traveling around and meeting with prospective students. Yeah, it's on me, and I am here today to introduce the second installment to our Student Spotlight Series podcast. Today we'll be featuring Lavi, who is a CSBA sophomore with a minor in, I believe it's cybersecurity, and she's really interested in that, which I think is super cool to hear her talk about all the different things that she's done at USC, her experiences, certain classes that she's taken, and how those classes have impacted what she's decided to do. She's a really cool person. I immediately thought of her when I thought of people who would be great for the podcast. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to let her introduce herself and let you guys all listen to our conversation. So I hope you enjoy. All right, we are going. Welcome back, everyone. And hello, Lavi. I'm very excited that you're here with me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, how is your morning? For those of you listening, we're recording this on a Saturday morning. Lavi is being the absolute best. So how's your Saturday? How was your week?
It's going well. Yeah, I'm super excited for the football game later to hang out with friends, and it's just going to be a good time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Do you have any fun tailgate plans or anything?
Ooh, honestly, a lot of my friends usually just go for brunch, like at the USC Village dining hall.
That's so fun.
Yeah, we're a pretty big group, so we'll get brunch as an entire group and then walk over together. It's a really good time.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think that's one thing I miss the most about living on campus was just being able to go to the dining hall with my friends. Like that was my social hour.
For sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So before we get into this, I would love it if you could introduce yourself for the listeners. So like your name, your grade, where you're from, what you're studying, anything else you think they'd want to know.
Yeah, for sure. So hi, my name is Lavanya Sharma, but I go by Lavi. Currently a sophomore at USC, majoring in computer science and business admin with a minor in cybersecurity. I grew up actually in Los Angeles, so I was really excited to kind of stay close to home. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, love it, love it. Where exactly did you grow up?
I grew up like a little bit north of of Los Angeles, in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
So I am a certified Valley girl.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, from going to USC, I'm learning about all. I'm like, if somebody says they're from LA, I'm like, now I have a general sense of like where that would be if they say their hometown.
Yeah.
So awesome. So coming from such a close area, I'm assuming like you've heard of USC, but I'm curious. So why did you choose to go to USC?
Yeah, so I was actually like really excited about like applying to college and picking a school in California specifically, just because I was like super close to my family. I still am. And going to USC kind of allows me the flexibility to go home on the weekends to visit my family, visit my siblings. And it's just like an hour car ride away. So I never have to worry about booking a plane ticket or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you applied to a bunch of other schools in California?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in the opposite boat. Like I only applied to USC, but now I'm like, oh, like there were more schools in California. So what made you specifically choose USC versus those other schools? Like you guys have a lot of great options here.
Oh yeah, we definitely do. I honestly just fell in love with, I think, the engineering school itself. I read like an article when I was applying that Viterbi had reached like gender parity. And that was something that was really important to me just because I have experienced like various, like I wouldn't call it discrimination, but just like discouraging comments and stuff in the past about, wanting to pursue my passion of engineering and in STEM.
Hmm.
And so getting to meet like some of the faculty, I met Professor Trina, who now teaches like ITP 115, like the Intro to Python course,
Hmm.
which I actually ended up taking in my fall semester freshman year. So I got to like meet her in person for the first time. And it was just really nice to see that there was actually a culture of like encouragement and empowerment for like all engineering students, regardless of their background.
Okay. Yeah. Love that. It was seriously night and day from my experience in high school engineering classes or even like upper level STEM classes to coming to college. Yeah. It's definitely nice
Yeah,
to
for
see
sure.
my community there. Okay. So
Yeah.
next question I have is how did you choose your major or like, what was that process? Did you start off like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do? Or yeah,
Yeah. So I grew up kind of always tinkering around with like various, like I would take apart pens and take apart like various things that would break and just figure out like how they worked and how I could fix them. And so I definitely knew that I would go into something engineering related or something design related just because I loved figuring out how something worked or how something could be improved. And then my parents actually were the ones who introduced me to like coding and to software. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this is really cool. Like you can solve problems on a screen instead of actually tinkering with something physically. Um, and so I started coding from a pretty young age. And so I was kind of always bent on being a computer science major or a computer engineering major. Um, but then I was kind of, when I was applying to college and when I was in high school, I was like, oh, I don't really know, like how businesses work, how businesses are managed, and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, when I transitioned from being a student to finally going into industry,
Mhm.
like that thought process was kind of daunting to me because I was like, I don't really know what to expect. Like I've never worked an internship before being in high school. Like, what does that sort of industry entail? And so I took the background in business just to kind of learn a little bit more about, a little bit about every facet of business. So whether that's finance, marketing, organizational behavior, um, regardless of like what I wanted to do with my computer science background, I think that baseline sort of like knowledge of business would be helpful.
Mhm. I love how you worded that, and I've never heard anyone explain it in that way, but it makes complete sense. Like how business, even if you want to go into computer science, having that background of business will just help you in the corporate landscape, the corporate world, to like understand like what that looks like in the different roles. I really like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've gotten the opportunity to take a lot of really cool classes that I think even like as a computer science major can be like super applicable to like any major really. So like for example, right now I'm actually taking a class in negotiation, and last week my assignment for class was to literally negotiate a higher salary and like a better bonus for myself. And that's something I would never have gotten the opportunity to
Mhm.
do otherwise. And so Marshall's ELC, or the Experiential Learning Center, is like super useful for kind of like, role playing these real
Mhm.
life scenarios that you would actually have to face in industry.
Mhm. Wait, that's so cool. So that was that like a role play? So with the with the negotiation, what was that like?
Yeah, so I was playing the role of a job candidate, and then my partner in class would play the role of the recruiter. And so basically, each week in the class, we get assigned a different role. So, for example, a few weeks ago, we did like a car salesman and a person who's looking for a car. And we kind of just like go back and forth, and we have, our baseline expectations of like, okay, I want a yellow car, or I want a red car, or in this case, I wanted like a certain level of salary and a certain percent bonus. And so, of course, as the opposing party, they probably have like different views of like how much salary or how much bonus they should give you. And so you kind of learn to do that back and forth conversation, and you kind of practice it with
Mhm.
every different class session.
Mhm. That's so cool. All
Yeah,
right.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a perfect segue, I guess, to my next question. So what has been your favorite class at USC?
Ooh, that's a really hard question.
No, I
Um,
personally could not even answer this one.
yeah, I think I wouldn't call this my favorite class, but I think the most memorable class and the class that I think definitely had the most like impact on my career plans was ITP 125, which
Mhm.
is Introduction to Information Security. And it was the first class that I had taken in my cybersecurity minor. And actually, this was before I had even declared it. Um, it was a 2 unit class. I was a freshman and I was just like, oh, I have an extra 2 units to spare. Let me enroll in the class. And it was like totally on a whim, but I like completely fell in love with it. I had Professor Joe Greenfield, who is a really big name in the
Mhm.
cybersecurity department here at USC.
So funny.
And
I have
so,
I have his brother Nathan right now.
oh, no way. That's really cool. Are you
Mhm.
taking one of his cloud classes?
I'm taking database systems and I took Intro to Python with him.
Oh, amazing. Okay, yeah. See,
Okay. Anyways,
the
quick
name precedes
digression.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was just like a really big mentor, and just like hearing about, his experiences like working in the industry and being in the field of cybersecurity, um, was just like really cool to me. And I was like, oh my God, like I could be a hacker,
Mhm.
which, sounds really funny. But then I ended up the next semester after that, I ended up taking a class literally titled Ethical Hacking, where we learn sort of like penetration testing and what the industry calls like red teaming, which was a lot of fun.
Mhm. Okay. Ethical hacking sounds so cool, and I think that's something that I've always been like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." So how would you quickly describe that to me or anybody who's listening?
Yeah, so the class is mainly structured around basically trying to find various like vulnerabilities in a system and then learning how to exploit them. So, for example, and all of this is completely ethical. You have to like sign a code of ethics before you can even take the class, just
Mhm.
so everything that you're doing is within the boundaries of like what USC allows you to do. But we would have some really cool labs where he would give you like different commands to try, and then you could like successfully quote unquote hack into some sort of like system that was like predetermined as like sort of a lab assignment.
Mhm. That's such an important thing these days, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So is that something that you're interested in doing in the future, or like what do you want to do with your major and all the stuff you've learned at USC?
Absolutely. So I'm definitely going to stick with the cybersecurity track. I've like fallen in love with it here. I think it's so cool. And I also think it's super important. I think, you hear every day about various like companies getting hacked, and various companies getting like ransomware and everything. Um, and I think cybersecurity and the awareness behind, privacy and personal security is also just going to grow from here. Like with the rise of like social media and the metaverse and everything, I think people are really starting to realize that um, their personal information is something that should be handled like with more caution than it is right now. And so I'm just like really excited to be in the field and like see what comes next.
Mhm. Very, very cool. Okay. So this last question, like kind of the last element of tell me about yourself. So is there anything you're currently working on or any personal projects that you want to highlight, just things that you like?
Yeah, so I'm currently one of the lead organizers for Athena Hacks, which is USC's hackathon for marginalized genders. So I had heard about Athena Hacks like since high school, and it was a really big deal because it was one of like the first gender-focused hackathons in California. And that's kind of something that I'm passionate about, is like bringing these marginalized communities, into tech and encouraging more people to like try coding for the first time and like learning how to make like a technical project for the first time. And so getting to be, on their team, like as a college student is really cool because I had always kind of looked up to them and heard a lot about them. And so I'm just really excited to continue organizing. We actually just onboarded like our new members. So it's been a really good time, like getting to know them, playing some bonding games, figuring out like the theme for our hackathon, figuring out like what swag we want to buy. So yeah, I'm just really pumped to to be having that in person this year.
That's so fun. When is that hackathon?
Yeah, so we host it in the spring annually, and I think this year it's going to be February 25th.
Okay. I will be abroad in the spring, but I totally would do it. And senior year.
Yes, you got to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been on my list for a while to do a hackathon. So you say you organize them, but I'm assuming you've done them.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the ones that I did back when I was like in high school was, they were virtual just because I was one of those kids who had their senior year like fully on Zoom.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah, so I was doing college apps while it was kind of like the height of the pandemic. And yeah, I mean, I can't say that it was a fun time, but I mean, you learn to live with it.
Yeah, absolutely. My heart goes out to you. That was my freshman year, but then even half of my senior year was just like not the time I was applying, thankfully, but all the fun parts of my senior year were all virtual. So I feel you on that.
Did you get like an in-person graduation at least?
No, it's actually the saddest thing. We had this slideshow, and the slideshow had this like music of like our band recorded, but they didn't. So then we'd each student in the graduating class would pass, and we'd be on the screen for like 2 seconds. But we had like 450, like 500 people that they showed. It was one band song that just kept playing on loop the entire time. So
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I never had to like sit through a billion different speeches. Of course, this is what I say to make myself feel better, but yeah, it's all good now. I love college in person, and I'm excited for an in-person college graduation.
Oh yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
For sure. Knocking on wood for you.
Oh my gosh, seriously. Yeah, I'm on track to graduate too, so should be good.
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, this last fun question. So what are things that you do to spend your time when you're not in class or when you're not working and like extracurriculars or any jobs? What do you do for fun?
Yeah. Honestly, I just love exploring the city life around campus. We're like in the heart of LA, and there's just always like something to do. There's like parties to go to, there's shopping, there's the beach. So whenever I have like a free weekend and there's not like a football game or some sort of thing going on, I'll go like take the metro and go to like Santa Monica Beach, or just hang out with friends, go to like Earth Cafe, get brunch, or even just walk to like Pot of Cha and get some boba.
Okay, what's your boba order? I'm a boba novice. I've had like one.
Ooh.
I've had boba like twice.
No way.
It's
boba time and Pot of Cha are so close, and you've only went twice.
Yeah, it's very Midwestern of me. I feel like everyone from California is so educated in boba.
Oh, true. Yeah, my high school actually had a boba shop like right across the street.
No way! Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, we definitely did not. It was we had like a field across from the high school, but
I love that.
Aside from that, if it's my first, second, third time getting boba, what would you recommend I order?
Ooh, okay. I think typically I like a more like fruity taste. I'm not really a fan of milk tea, especially if it's like, in the morning, like I'm getting brunch with friends. This might have to do with the fact that I'm lactose intolerant, but we're just gonna ignore that. But I love like a passion fruit green tea or a grapefruit green tea. Just something that's super like refreshing and super light. Just totally makes my day.
Do you get the bobas in there?
Of course, Maya.
Are they the ones that you bite and then it's like fruit juice, or are they the chewy ones?
Oh yeah, I know. I like the tapioca boba. My
Mm,
sister is actually a pretty big fan of like the popping boba.
mhm,
A couple of my friends are too. I think you can customize the flavors. They have like
mhm.
strawberry and mango. But I like the classic tapioca pearls the
Okay, you've inspired me.
best.
Go get boba at some point. All
Yes.
right. Well, s- I guess the boba, fun conversation, but this is a great segue to the end of this podcast where I have a bunch of quick takes. So, like getting your
Okay, cool.
opinion, asking you like this or that, what's your favorite? So, um, I guess the point of this is to answer them as quick as possible. Like if there's a 3 seconds hedge, if there's like 3 seconds of hesitation, like no way. Just first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay, sweet.
All right. Are you ready?
For sure.
Okay. And the first question is okay. Is cereal soup?
Yes.
Favorite holiday?
Ooh. I would have to say Halloween just because it's coming up and I can feel the anticipation already.
Okay. I love it. My birthday is the week before Halloween, so I'm a very Halloween focused festive
Yes,
fall person.
I love that.
Okay. Tacos or burritos?
Burritos.
Snow or sand?
Ooh. Okay, snow for sure, even though I grew up near the beach.
Hmm. Favorite restaurant near USC?
Ooh. Honestly, I would just have to go with Cava because of its
Mm.
proximity.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh.
convenient.
Convenient and it's fantastic. I cannot
Oh,
tell you how
it's
much
so good.
I miss kava so much this summer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Your favorite movie?
Lilo and Stitch, which is one of my favorite Disney movies. It's so nostalgic.
Oh, okay. If you were to start a society, what would it be for?
Oh, that's a really good question. I guess something related to like women in cybersecurity. There's not a huge, um, I guess not on USC specifically. I haven't found like something that's specifically for like marginalized genders in security specifically. So I think it would be cool to uplift those specific voices because I know security can be a little bit daunting to think about. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's like people with like the black hoodies on and they're just like hacking away at a black and white screen. So just something to make it like more approachable and more accessible to as many people as possible.
Hmm. Okay, awesome. The last one, my personal favorite. If peanut butter weren't called peanut butter, what would it be called?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question, Maya. um, hmm. Jelly's partner.
Oh, I love it. I wasn't even thinking anything like that. But yeah, peanut butter and jellies. That was my lifeblood as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Lavi, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really liked hearing about all the things that you're interested in, cybersecurity, all the hackathons. I'm definitely gonna have to go get boba now.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for taking the time.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. See you later. And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you learned a lot from Lavi. I sure did. For starters, I learned a lot about what to order next time I go to get boba. It really sounds so good right now. So I'll report back to this podcast on what I end up getting when I actually do go get boba for like the second time in my life. But also about her interests and how she's applied computer science, business, how she's pursued her interest in cybersecurity. I think cybersecurity is so relevant right now. We'll hear it. It's a big factor in every company. And as the internet becomes more and more prevalent in what we do, I think it's just going to continue to grow. So I thought it was really cool how she described that and how she got into cybersecurity. I think certainly for any prospective student who's like curious about that topic, I think Lavi is a really great example of all the different things that you can do with respect to cybersecurity and how to learn more at USC. So once again, I hope you all just have a general understanding of like what the types of people are at USC. Like you might have a Lavi in your class. You might have, like our last episode, you might have a TJ in your class. And I think it's just cool to understand what it might be like to come here. So it's kind of like a glimpse into what my life is, like getting to interact with these people every day. Thank you guys all for tuning in and listening. In the world of admissions, once again, be sure to get your applications in by the early action deadline. That's November 1st. I'll see you guys all back here next week for another episode of Viterbi Voices. Thanks.